What's up, guys? We're here at KWI's National Senior Welding Competition. I'm joined by Ryan of Whitley County, Kentucky, and he's one of their instructors, and he's going to share a little bit about his history in welding.
Cool. Thank you, Keegan. So basically I started out, I took welding in high school for 4 years and fell in love with it right away. Most of these 18-year-olds, 17-year-olds, 16-year-olds that I get the same way. I see myself kind of in the past being the same way, and fell in love with it and just practiced really hard and got all the way through high school. And actually just kind of at the end of my high school career, I was kind of, juggling some things around and couldn't figure out really what route I wanted to go. Mm-hmm. And ultimately I figured, I know how to weld. Now I need to learn how to, let's add a trade to this. Okay. So I actually went to Somerset Community College and I did computerized manufacturing and machining there. Graduated associate's degree, and I worked at Toyotetsu America in Somerset, Kentucky for probably about 5 to 6 years doing tool and die work. Okay. So the cool thing about the tool and die industry was we got to do a lot of things: machining, drilling, grinding, a lot of welding, primarily TIG welding on high carbon steels, a lot of repair work. So it really broadened what I could do in the industry. And working night shift is a struggle. And for me personally, at that point, we were expecting my first son. I'm like, what can I do to better my schedule? Mm-hmm. And I look back and I'm like, well, I really looked up to my welding instructor. That was a person when I grew up coming through high school. That was somebody that I could count on. I still stayed in touch with him even after high school. And I was literally sitting at lunch one night and I shot him a text. I'm like, hey, what does it take to become a welding instructor? And he asked me, how many years have you been welding at TTAI? And I said, 5. He said, do you have your associate's degree? I said, yes. He's like, you got everything you need. Right. So at that point, we started looking and applied to a couple places and found myself at Whitley County High School. And This is my 3rd year. It's been an uphill climb for these 3 years, but we're actually, this year we've seen the most success that we've seen so far. Okay. And I think part of that is because firing off right from the beginning, we hosted the first KWI Bluegrass Series at Whitley County in, what was that, December?
Yeah, it went amazing too.
It did. It went awesome, and I think a lot of my kids seen that and seen what was possible, and they're like, this is, it upped the level and everybody's motivation and their drive, and everybody started trying.
The whole state of Kentucky is really on point.
And so I've seen our level of where we were go from here to just, beyond what I could possibly even imagine, honestly.
Yeah, and that's huge because, for so long, the industry was kind of in a downhill decline, I feel like, with people trying to get into the industry. For sure. And I think with these Bluegrass Welding Series and this competition and you guys joining the fight and bringing people back into the industry, I think we're seeing a surge back into that, especially in Kentucky.
I think so, yeah. I think so, too.
What's some advice that you would give to somebody looking to get into welding and possibly coming to a welding school after high school?
For sure. So my take on the welding school, and this is what I like to do for my seniors personally, I like to just lay it all out. This is your options. Right. This is what these schools offer primarily, and you have to ask yourself, what do you want to do, right? Exactly. Where do you want to go and what do you want to do? You take that question and fit that with whatever fits what the image of your future is. That's basically what I tell them. Right. And compare the facts. Right. See what these schools have. See what this school has, where it's at. How much money does it cost? Where do you want to go? Do you want to move around? Right. Do you want to travel? Do you want to stay local? Do you want an associate's degree? Right. Do you ever see yourself becoming an educator or some type of administrator?
Right, like the same route that you took.
Pretty much, yeah. I had my associate's degree, so that helped me in the end. But, everybody's different. Everybody's going to go a different route, and some people are going to go one route, and then they may get halfway through or even all the way out of it, and they're like, crap, this is not what I want to do. Right. Myself, honestly, I'll be honest with you, I signed up at Eastern Kentucky University before I went to Somerset to do occupational safety. And 2 weeks before school started, I changed everything and went to Somerset. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
So literally, my whole life pretty much changed and did a flip-flop right there.
According to those 2 weeks. Really?
And I actually have a senior right now, I won't mention his name. He is coming here in the fall. This kid offered a full scholarship to a local college in our area to play football. And he decided that that's not what he wants to do. He does like football, he wants to play, but what they offer at that college is not something that he wants to do for a career. Right. And so to have that maturity level to look at that and be like, there's nothing here I want to do. I'm probably not going to be successful doing this. And now he's picked he literally walked up to me one day and said, "Can I get back in welding? This is my story, and moving forward, I think I really liked your class. I want to be a welder." And so we picked him up. This was like December, and now he's here today competing and coming to KWI in the fall.
That's awesome.
So completely changed his life right there.
So someone who's in high school looking to become a welder or go to a welding school, what would you think would be the best things to practice in high school and get good at?
Plate welding, obviously. Definitely plate welding. Start with backing strips and then go from plate welding with a backing strip to no backing strip, open grooves. Just the basic stuff, 2G, 3G, 4G, overhead, open roots. And then if you have time, maybe run some pipe at the end. That's what we're going to do personally at my school. These guys just complete all their certs. The competitions are wrapping up this time of year. We have some time now to work on specific things that these kids, I know they're going to do. I'm going to ask them, where are you going and what do you need?
Right.
And then that's what I'm going to push them into. If you, like for KWI, you guys start on flux, correct? So we're going to do some flux welding these next couple of weeks, get them ready for that. I want to prepare them the best I can, right?
Right.
And I think that's how all instructors should be. That's our ultimate goal, is to prepare the kids for the next level, whatever that is,
right.
Wherever you're going in life.
Right. And I think it's great that you appeal to each individual.
I try to. You can't, you're not going to make it perfect for everybody.
And, not everybody's going to pick the same place they want to go. So whatever they decide, you help them get to that point in time.
Yeah, try my best,
And you're not biased to anybody,
right.
Which is great because, not everybody is going to come to KWI.
You can't push everybody in one place. You can't do that.
Not everybody is for us. And so that's the thing, you as an instructor have to know your students, have to figure out what they want and what their needs, and then you tailor the curriculum according to what they need.
And you have to look at their work ethic as well.
Right.
A faster paced school or trade school like KWI may not fit somebody that's a little bit slower paced. Maybe they take a little bit longer to prep and do all this stuff.
Right.
Maybe they need to look at something else. And you can recommend those things in a positive way.
Correct.
To help these students. And ultimately, you don't want somebody like that going somewhere that they're setting themselves up for failure.
Correct.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
Correct.
And that's kind of what I try to look at too. I try to teach that. I try to teach my kids that work ethic is everything. All you have to show up, shut up, and do the work.
Right.
Right? That's what you need to do.
Basically.
Yes.
So moving forward, what are the things that you're going to start implementing into your welding class? What are some changes you might be making in the next couple of years? What do you see with the future of welding?
So mainly, I definitely know for sure next year I would like to do more blueprint stuff.
Okay.
We're already doing a little bit, but from what I've seen this year and kind of the level that we need to be on, we're going to step that up a little bit. And then I'm actually already implementing it now. I'm taking some underclassmen and letting them try some open V grooves while we have them cut right now, and just kind of get them used to it before next year even rolls around. And learning the terms and what you're talking about is also very important, and I feel like we need to focus on that more and more every year.
Right.
Because just because I can go out here and weld a V-groove and pass a bend test, I still need to know what I'm talking about.
Right.
I need to know what porosity is, slag inclusions. You need to know what all those things are, and I feel like that's important. Polarity. And I teach my kids, too. I try to teach them that, just machine setup's very important, right?
It is.
And that's what I think, too, is really cool about these competitions is everywhere we go, it's a different machine, different shop, and they have to set those up and figure out what's going to work.
Right, going off the puddle.
Exactly.
You don't go off of what the machine
I tell them,
does.
study the puddle.
Right.
That's the key, right?
Right.
As welders, all we're doing is studying the puddle, and we're learning how to manipulate that puddle in every situation and whatever you're welding on,
Correct.
right? It changes everywhere. And I tell them, even you take the same Miller 220 welder here and another Miller 220 there, and they're going to be different. They're going to weld a little bit different.
They will.
They might be similar. The settings are similar, right? Or the same, but they're going to weld just a little different.
They are. Just their internal.
And then you go from red to blue or what have you. This is a big difference, right?
Yep.
Everything's different.
And that's the thing with the welding industry is just getting used to never welding the same metal, never welding the same...
And changing rods,
changing
switching
rods.
companies.
Exactly.
Just because, Washington Alloys or Lincoln Electric, the 5P Pluses, use them all. Try all the different rods. And
yes.
Because everywhere you go, if you go work for a certain company, they may be like, hey, this is what we use.
Right.
This is in the WPS or whatever, and this is what you're going to use.
Exactly.
So, you can't be like, well, I like Washington Alloys better. It doesn't matter. This is what we're
whatever
using.
the company provides, yes. And you have to get used to that factor as well as the machines,
True.
the location, the type
Yeah.
of welds, and
we try to, something I've tried to start implementing this year is sort of like some simulators like you guys do here. We built like a little platform they can step up on and weld outside with a generator welder. Get them out of the booth, get them outside, get them uncomfortable, and make them put a plate in a position that they may not be used to welding.
Right.
Because sitting down and with your plate tacked up all day long,
booth,
that's not doing anything.
No, it's not.
So let's get outside, let's weld, let's do these different things. You know, project-based learning is good too. I try to do a lot of the project-based learning, like actual projects when the students are younger. That way their senior year, we're focusing on the V-grooves, getting their DOT certification, and these competitions, and what's your goals when you leave here.
Right.
So we get the fab work out of the way a little bit early in the projects and all that.
Right.
Let them do that while they're younger, and let them experience that. And then toward the end of their, you know, their senior year, mainly we're focused on certs and where are you going, what are you doing,
right.
and how can we help you get there.
And I think that's huge. I think a lot of schools should be implementing that.
For sure.
Just focusing on the individuals and what they need.
Exactly.
Thank you, Ryan, for your time and advice, and hopefully someone out there will listen to what you had to say and take it and run with it.
Cool, appreciate it.
Again, if you are not subscribed to our YouTube channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and also that like button as well. And if you want to stay up to date on our notifications, go ahead and click the bell button because we upload videos every week that are very helpful for welders in the welding industries.